Mike Bako, he's sports editor at the website dailynational.com. Mike, this is kind of a good news, bad news kind of a story. Good news, they're in. Bad news, woof, they're up against some pretty stiff competition, aren't they?
It's a tough competition for sure, as you mentioned. You know, Canada, the national sport in Canada. I mean, you think about all the great Canadian moments that they've had in the Olympics, and then the U.S. having that rivalry with Canada. So two formidable opponents. So it may be a short-lived visit into the Pool A, as you mentioned there, but it is great exposure for them. It is great in terms of building just the awareness that this is a sport that they can excel at. So whether they go out there and get blown out in each game, the fact that they are actually in and that their countrymen can see their players play at the highest level against all-time players from both the Canadian team and from the U.S. team, that's half the battle.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody who's been to 20 Olympics, and they were saying the nice thing for people in China is that you can get your hands on tickets, because these kind of events, those are really the tickets that are tough to get to, so they'll at least be out there in big numbers to cheer them on. Let's talk about something that's kind of taking place off the ice, off the ski slopes, and that's, of course, this new variant. China's being very strict about letting people into the country. Now you're going to be getting all these athletes in from around the world, this variant spreading so quickly. Is this going to alter, you think, Beijing's Olympic preparation schedule at all?
Well, I think what they're still maintaining what they were going to do. They're going to have a massive, basic ring of management around the entire Olympic Village, around all of the athletes, around all of the participants, coaches, ancillary people that are making the games go off. First thing that everyone has to realize is that unlike the Tokyo Games that just went off over the summer, everyone that attends needs to be fully vaccinated or face a 21-day self-isolation quarantine. So that is a very, very, very strict policy. If you think about the U.S. contingent that went over for the Tokyo Games just a few months ago, they were highly vaccinated, but still only at about 90%. So they're going to need to be fully vaccinated going into these games. So that is one of the countermeasures that they're hoping to do. The other is to just completely eliminate and limit any movement aside from going to and from the facilities to participate in your events or some training activities. They're even limiting the amount of training that you're able to do. So this Olympic idea of the Olympic Village and mingling with different countries and different athletes who you may never meet or see in your lifetime, that's going to be completely eliminated to eliminate some of the risk. And you mentioned the spectators. The spectators are only going to be Chinese people that live there on the mainland, so no outside visitors at all.
Let's get back to Yo Yong's story about these young athletes, because one of the things that's really interesting is kind of this winter sports frenzy that's likely to grip China as a result of the Olympics. And as you said, these folks are going to be able to go to the games and really kind of capture this moment, and the president himself has said that he wants to inspire about 300 million people to take up winter sports, everything from skiing to ice hockey. What is the likely impact going to be on China, do you think?
Well, when you're just looking at the number of facilities that are being built, you're thinking about the different ski resorts that are being built, tripling and quadrupling over the last 3 to 4 years. Ice skating rinks and hockey rinks have quadrupled in terms of the amount that have been built. So this is something that they're doing to gear up for the Olympic Games, but this is something that they're doing to raise the popularity of these Olympic sports. But they're also investing in this infrastructure to become this athletic machine moving forward. Yes, these Beijing Games in 2022 are going to be the jumping off point, but what they're really looking to do is try to recreate the success that they have in the Summer Games, in the Winter Games. That's going to be a big lead up. I don't think they're going to go from not really participating in too many of these sports or having too much of a traditional background in them to being first or second in medal count like they almost are in the Summer Games. What you're going to see is a gradual buildup with so many hundreds of millions of residents taking up these sports. The hope is that the younger generation makes this part of their sporting DNA, if you will, so that the next generation of Olympic athletes are not too far behind.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to watch. Mike, always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for your insights.
Thank you, Mike.
Everything is